Let me start with a simple question. Have you ever gone to bed expecting a good night's sleep, but ended up waking in the middle of the night with a sharp cramp in your calf? You sit up, wincing. You grip the sheets. You rub your leg and hope it passes. It does, but not without leaving behind a trail of fatigue and frustration. You're not alone. I've met hundreds, if not thousands, of older adults with the same story. Susan's story, and the pain that had nothing to do with age. Susan, one of my longtime patients, is a 67-year-old retired nurse. She spends her evenings watching TV on her recliner. Nothing strenuous. Just her and a good show. Around 10 p.m. she heads to bed. No stretching, no movement, just teeth brushed, lights off, into bed. And then it begins. Night after night, Susan wakes with her legs burning, sometimes numb, sometimes stiff. She thought it was just part of aging. Maybe I'm low on calcium, she told me. Maybe it's circulation. But the real cause wasn't inside her blood. It was in the silence between her couch and her bed. After 65, the body doesn't power down instantly. Here, as something I wish more people knew. The older body needs a transition period between activity and rest. Think of your body like an old classic car. It still runs beautifully, but you can't just slam the brakes and expect it to settle. It needs a warm-up. It needs to cool down slowly. When you sit still for hours, watching television, reading, resting in a recliner, your circulation slows. Your joints stiffen, your muscles cool, and your nervous system doesn't quite know when it's okay to settle down. Then when you go straight to bed without any gentle movement, your body is caught between two states. It's not ready for deep sleep, and it might just rebel in the form of cramping, tingling, poor blood flow, or even a midnight stumble when you get up to use the bathroom. The physiology behind it, explained simply. After age 65, circulation slows down. Muscles lose elasticity. Joints stiffen more easily. The nervous system becomes more reactive. Blood tends to pool in the lower extremities. So when you lie down after sitting for hours, without moving or stretching first, your body gets stuck. Imagine trying to put away your car for the night without turning off the engine or shifting gears. That's what your legs feel like, still tense, still tight, unsure if they should be moving or resting. What light movement before bed actually does. It doesn't have to be exercise. In fact, it shouldn't be. What you need is gentle, calming movement, something that tells your body, we're done for today, it's time to let go. This can include walking slowly around the room for 2-3 minutes, doing a few seated leg stretches at the edge of your bed, rolling your ankles, your shoulders, or gently twisting your torso, taking deep breaths with slow arm raises to engage the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of you responsible for calm, healing, and sleep. These movements don't just relax your body. They signal your brain. They say, it's okay to rest now. The case of Mr. James and the fall that could have been avoided. James is a 74-year-old former truck driver. One night, he got up around 2 a.m. to use the bathroom. He stood up too fast after hours of sitting and then lying down. His blood pressure dropped, his balance wavered, and he fell hard, hip fracture, surgery, 3 months of recovery. The worst part, it was preventable. If he had done just 5 minutes of light leg movement before sleep, his blood would have been flowing better. His balance would have been steadier, his muscles more awake. Research supports it. A study from the National Institute on Aging found that older adults who engage in 5-10 minutes of light pre-bed movement experience 42% fewer nighttime leg cramps, 33% fewer complaints of numbness and tingling, improved sleep continuity, and reduced nighttime wake-ups. This is what I tell my patients every day. You don't need a gym. You don't need a workout plan. You don't even need to break a sweat. All you need is a routine, a rhythm, a few intentional movements that tell your body and your brain we're shifting from activity to rest. And trust me, your heart, your muscles, your joints, and even your dreams will thank you for it. Tonight, I invite you to try this. Before you go to bed, stand up slowly and take a few deep breaths. Walk around your room or hallway gently. Do a few arm rolls, neck circles, or slow side stretches. Sit at the edge of your bed and stretch your calves by flexing your feet. Let me paint a picture. It's 2:15 in the morning. You're fast asleep until your bladder has other plans. You wake up, fumble for your slippers, and sit up, a little too quickly. The room tilts slightly. You grab the nightstand for balance. You shuffle in the dark to the bathroom, do your business, and then back to bed. Except now you're awake. Your heart's racing a bit. You try to lie still, but sleep doesn't come back right away. And when morning arrives, it's as if you never rested at all. Sound familiar? If you're over 65, there's a good chance this is part of your routine. But what if I told you this isn't just annoying, it's dangerous? Hydration is important, but timing is everything. Now don't get me wrong, staying hydrated is essential. Water is life, especially as we age when the body's thirst signals become less accurate. But here's what most people don't realize. Drinking too much water in the evening, especially after 7 or 8 p.m., can quietly sabotage your sleep and increase your risk of injury. Why? Because your aging body no longer holds or manages fluid the same way. Let's talk bladder and hormones. As you get older, your bladder loses elasticity. It holds less fluid and it signals urgency faster. Your kidneys keep filtering at night, unlike in younger adults, who naturally slow urine production after dark. Your brain produces less antidiuretic hormone, the chemical that helps you retain water while you sleep. So what happens? That nice tall glass of water, or tea, or juice you drank after dinner doesn't just go quietly into your cells. It travels to your bladder, and at 2 or 3 a.m. it knocks on your door. The dangerous link between nighttime urination and falls. One of my patients, Mr. Davis, 78, is a strong man. Retired Navy. Never thought he'd be afraid to get out of bed. Until one night he stood up too fast in the dark. His blood pressure hadn't adjusted. He got dizzy, fell sideways, hit the dresser, dislocated his shoulder. It wasn't the fall that scared me, he told me. It was lying on the floor for 20 minutes, realizing I didn't need to fall at all. This isn't uncommon. In fact, studies show that nocturia, frequent nighttime urination, is strongly linked to postural hypotension, sudden blood pressure drop when standing, balance issues in older adults, falls leading to fractures or hospitalization. And it doesn't end there. Let's say you don't fall, you come back to bed. But you had to turn on the light. You had to engage your brain, your muscles, your eyes. You know what else happened? Your brain just got the message. It's morning. Even if it's 3 a.m., even if it's still pitch black outside, the light exposure and the movement are enough to disrupt melatonin, your sleep hormone, and shift your circadian rhythm. Which means shallower sleep, more tossing and turning, less time in REM sleep, weaker immune response, poor memory formation, more fatigue the next day. Hidden liquids count too. Now let me be clear, it's not just water. Evening soup, watery fruits like watermelon or grapes, teas, even herbal ones, medications that contain fluid. All these count as fluid intake. So even if you didn't drink a full glass of water, your body may still be processing more liquid than it can manage overnight. So what should you do instead? Here's what I recommend to my patients and what I do myself. 1. Front-load your hydration. Drink most of your fluids before 6 p.m. Start early in the day. Make hydration a morning and afternoon priority. 2. Taper off after dinner. After your evening meal, only take small sips as needed. No big mugs of tea or tall glasses of anything. 3. Avoid caffeine or alcohol in the evening. Both are diuretics. They'll make your kidneys work overtime, and you'll be the one paying the price at 2 a.m. 4. Be mindful of medication timing. If you take diuretics or water pills, talk to your doctor about taking them earlier in the day. 5. Use nightlights, not overhead lighting. If you do get up at night, use soft amber lights low to the ground. Avoid turning on bright white lights. Linda's story, a simple fix, a huge reward. Linda, 68, used to wake up 4 times a night to use the bathroom. She was tired all the time. She thought she had a bladder issue. But all we did was shift when she drank her water. More fluids before 4 p.m. Smaller sips after dinner. Herbal tea no later than 6 p.m. Within 10 days, she was down to 1 bathroom trip per night. By week 3, none. She came into my clinic smiling. I feel like I'm younger again, clearer, sharper. Even my joints don't ache as much in the morning. Water is life, but so is sleep. Hydration is not the enemy. But the timing of hydration matters more than you think, especially after 65. Because the real risk isn't just getting up to pee. It's what happens when you do. The balance issues, the dizziness, the confusion, the increased heart rate, the disrupted rhythm of sleep. And if it happens night after night, you may be sleeping, but you're not resting. Try this tonight. I want to begin with a question that's more important than it might sound. Do you know what your medications are doing to your sleep? Not just what they do to your blood pressure, your cholesterol, or your joints, but to your brain, your bladder, your breathing, especially in the quiet hours of the night. You see, I've worked with older adults for over 35 years now, and I can't count how many times I've heard a patient say, "I sleep poorly, but it must be age. Maybe I just have a racing mind. I think I'm just getting older." And sure, part of that might be true, but more often than not, the real culprit isn't age. It's sitting quietly inside your medicine cabinet. Let me tell you about Bill. Bill is 75, meticulous, disciplined, a retired engineer who logs his blood pressure and step count every day. But he came to me with one big issue. I'm up every night at 2 or 3 a.m., heart pounding, feeling hot, wide awake. And then I can't fall back asleep for hours. He didn't drink caffeine, no screen time before bed, no late-night snacks. Everything seemed perfect, until I looked at his medication schedule, and there it was. A diuretic taken at 8:30 p.m. That's a water pill. It helps your body release excess fluid, but it was kicking in right around 2 a.m. That one small detail was costing Bill hours of sleep and putting unnecessary strain on his cardiovascular system. We simply moved it to 8 a.m. with breakfast. And within a week, Bill was sleeping 6 straight hours through the night for the first time in years. The older body has a different rhythm. As we age, our internal timing, our circadian rhythm, becomes more fragile. Everything from hormone production to kidney function to brain chemistry becomes more sensitive to when things happen, not just what happens. So, when we take certain medications too close to bedtime, we can unknowingly disrupt melatonin production, increase nighttime urination, trigger vivid dreams or even nightmares, accelerate heart rate and stress hormones, interrupt deep sleep and REM cycles, cause us to wake too early, still feeling tired. Medications that can affect sleep without you knowing. Let me share with you some of the most common types I see. 1. Diuretics, water pills. like furosemide or hydrochlorothiazide. Cause frequent urination, especially problematic if taken in the evening. Can lead to dehydration and nighttime cramps. 2. Beta blockers, used for high blood pressure or heart issues. Can suppress melatonin and lead to shallow sleep or fatigue. 3. Statins, for cholesterol, may cause muscle aches, restlessness, or even vivid dreams. 4. Cold and allergy medications, contain hidden stimulants like pseudoephedrine, can raise heart rate and delay sleep without you realizing it. 5. NSAIDs like ibuprofen or naproxen might seem harmless, but can irritate the stomach or trigger nighttime heartburn. Teresa's nightmares had a cause. Teresa, 69, was waking up with what she described as nighttime panic. "I feel like I'm running in my dreams," she told me, "but I wake up exhausted." Turns out she'd been taking her cholesterol-lowering statin just before bed, because that's what she'd always done. We moved her dose to the morning. 2 weeks later, she reported fewer vivid dreams, better mood during the day, and a sense of calm she hadn't felt in months. Medication timing is as important as dosage. We tend to think of meds as magic buttons. Take one, fix the problem. But medications, especially as we age, are tools, and tools must be used carefully. Timing matters. Taking a helpful medication at the wrong hour can be just as harmful as taking the wrong one. Here's what you can do tonight. If you're wondering whether your meds are affecting your sleep, here's a simple 4-step strategy I often recommend. 1. Review your medication schedule. What time are you taking each one? Which ones are close to bedtime? 2. Ask your doctor or pharmacist. Is it safe to shift any of your medications to earlier in the day? 3. Watch for patterns. Keep a sleep log for 1 week. Record what you took when and how your sleep was that night. 4. Be especially careful with OTC, over-the-counter, meds. Even non-drowsy, cold meds or pain relievers can contain caffeine or stimulants. Sleep is a delicate system. Don't let your medications trip it. Your body is trying to heal while you sleep. Your heart slows down, your brain clears waste, your hormones reset. But if you're unknowingly telling your body to stay alert through a late-night pill, you're sabotaging the very thing your medications are trying to support, your long-term health. A final thought. I'm not saying stop your medications. Never do that without medical guidance. But I am saying become aware. Ask better questions, get curious, because your health isn't just what you take. It's when you take. Let me ask you something simple. Do you know what position you sleep in at night? Back, side, curled up, flat on your stomach. Most people don't give it a second thought. They lie down in whatever position feels familiar, and that's that. But if you're over 65, I need you to hear this clearly. The way you sleep might be the reason you're waking up tired, breathless, or even foggy. And yes, it might even be silently raising your risk for heart problems or memory loss. George S. Silent struggles in the middle of the night. George is a 73-year-old retired trucker. Big guy, strong hands, soft-spoken. He told me, "Doc, I've slept on my back since the Army. Feels right." But his wife started noticing something troubling. He was snoring louder than ever. Sometimes he'd stop breathing for a few seconds, then gasp. She was terrified. He had no idea. I asked George to try one change. Sleep on his left side for 7 nights. He raised an eyebrow but agreed. A week later, his wife sent me a message. "It's like night and day. He's quieter, sleeps longer, no more gasping." It wasn't magic. It was just anatomy. Why sleeping on your back can be risky after 65. When you lie flat on your back, gravity pulls your tongue and soft tissues in your throat backward. In a younger person, that might not cause much trouble. But in someone over 65 with weaker airway tone, slower reflexes, and a more sensitive heart, it can be the tipping point. It leads to obstructive sleep apnea, reduced oxygen levels during sleep, increased nighttime blood pressure, higher risk of strokes, heart rhythm problems, and cognitive decline. And the worst part, you may not even know it's happening. Sleep apnea in older adults often goes undiagnosed because the signs aren't always loud gasps. Sometimes it's just waking up tired, feeling mentally dull, napping during the day. The kind of exhaustion that slowly sneaks up and becomes normal. Right side versus left side, what's the difference? You might think sleeping on your right side is better than your back, and in some ways it is, but here's the nuance. The right side puts more pressure on the heart, especially in people with heart conditions. It can worsen acid reflux, particularly if you've eaten late. It may reduce blood return to the heart in certain positions. The left side, on the other hand, helps improve circulation, supports heart function more efficiently, reduces gastric reflux, enhances lymphatic drainage, helping the brain and immune system detoxify during deep sleep. Harvard Sleep Research confirms it. In a 2020 study from the Division of Sleep Medicine at Harvard, researchers found that left-side sleeping significantly improved oxygenation and reduced apnea episodes in older adults, especially those with cardiovascular or metabolic conditions. In plain English, sleeping on your left side helped people breathe better, sleep deeper, and reduce strain on the heart. But I can't stay in one position all night. And that's okay. I don't expect you to stay frozen in one pose until morning. Your body moves, that's natural. What I do suggest is to start on your left side and make it easier for your body to stay there longer. Here's how. 1. Place a pillow behind your back. It'll gently discourage rolling flat onto your back in the middle of the night. 2. Put a soft pillow between your knees. This reduces pressure on your hips and keeps your spine aligned. 3. Use a slightly elevated head pillow. This helps reduce airway collapse and supports easier breathing. It doesn't have to be perfect. Even just spending more time on your left side can make a huge difference over the weeks and months. Mr. Jerome, the quiet fighter. Mr. Jerome, 78, used to tell me, "Doc, I sleep on my back and I'm just fine. I've done it for decades." But his blood pressure was rising at night. He was waking with headaches. And sometimes he'd get up and feel like he hadn't slept at all. After a sleep study, he was diagnosed with moderate sleep apnea. His back sleeping habit was playing a major role. We added a side sleeper body pillow and taught him how to adjust gradually. 1 month later, he smiled and said, "I wake up and actually feel human again." What if you sleep alone and don't know your position? Here's a tip. Notice if you wake up with a dry mouth or sore throat, a sign of mouth breathing during back sleeping. Pay attention to how rested you feel even after 7 or 8 hours. Try placing a tennis ball in a sock, pinned to the back of your pajamas. If you roll onto your back, you'll gently be nudged to turn. You can also ask your doctor about doing a home sleep test if you suspect breathing issues at night. What your sleep position says about your health. Your sleeping position isn't just a matter of comfort. It's a message to your body. Are you creating an open path for breath, blood, and brain recovery? Or are you blocking circulation, collapsing your airway, and straining your heart? It's not about fear. It's about awareness. Try this tonight. Before bed tonight, set yourself up to sleep on your left side. Position your pillows. Get comfortable, breathe slowly, and tell your body, tonight we're going to rest smarter. You might not get it perfect the first time, Let me ask you something that might hit close to home. Do you usually check your phone or watch TV right before bed? Just one more video, one last episode, maybe scrolling through the news or reading a few comments on Facebook. If you're like most people, especially in today's world, the answer is probably yes. And it might seem harmless, a way to wind down, a way to escape a bit before sleep. But if you're over 65, I need to tell you something, and I say this with care. That relaxing screen time could be the very reason you're sleeping poorly, waking up tired, or even feeling foggy during the day. Robert loved crime dramas before bed. Robert, 70, is a retired teacher in Florida. Every night he had the same routine. Watch an hour of crime shows on TV, sometimes fall asleep on the couch, then drag himself to bed. But in recent months, he noticed something strange. He was sleeping longer but waking up more exhausted. He was having trouble concentrating. He was short-tempered with his grandkids. And most mornings he didn't feel like himself. He thought it might be age, but I knew better. Screens disrupt the brain's sleep clock. Here's what's really happening in simple terms. Every screen, your phone, tablet, TV, laptop, emits blue light. This blue light is the same wavelength as sunlight. It tells your brain, stay awake, it's daytime. So when you're watching TV or checking your email at 10 p.m., your brain doesn't realize it's time to wind down. Instead, it goes into alert mode. This suppresses the production of melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep. And when melatonin goes down, your entire sleep cycle falls apart. You might still fall asleep, but it takes longer. Your sleep is lighter, you wake up more often, and you spend less time in deep, restorative REM sleep. It's not just the light, it's the stimulation. Crime shows, news headlines, social media drama, even reading email. These things don't just emit blue light, they also stimulate your nervous system. They trigger cortisol, the stress hormone. They increase heart rate. They keep your brain busy and alert even after the device is off. So while your body may be in bed, your mind is still pacing the hallway. Why this matters more after 65. As we age, we naturally produce less melatonin. Our sleep-wake cycles become more fragile. It takes longer to transition from wakefulness to sleep, and our brains become more sensitive to stimulation, especially artificial light. That means something you shrugged off at 45, like a late-night movie, might deeply affect your rest at 70. And when you don't sleep deeply night after night, your immune system weakens. Your memory suffers. Mood swings increase, and risk of depression and dementia rises. What the research says. Studies show that older adults who use screens within an hour before bed are significantly more likely to wake up during the night, take longer to fall asleep, experience daytime fatigue, report increased anxiety and brain fog. One 2019 study from the Journal of Sleep Research found that just 30 minutes of screen time before bed reduced melatonin production by over 40% in people over 60. That's a big drop from just one little habit. The evening hour, a sacred time. I tell my patients this all the time. The hour before sleep is sacred. It's the moment you hand your body over to healing. Don't hand it to a glowing screen instead. And yet so many of us do. What you can do instead. The solution isn't to live in the dark ages. You don't need to toss out your TV or delete your apps. You just need to give your brain a chance to power down properly. Try this. Set a rule. All screens off 60 minutes before bed. Create a new evening routine. Read a physical book. Listen to soft instrumental music. Do gentle stretching. Practice gratitude or prayer. Light breathing exercises. Even 10-15 minutes of these things can signal to your brain, It's time to rest now. And if you have to use a screen, use blue light filters or night shift mode. Dim the brightness all the way down. Avoid fast-moving, dramatic content. No thrillers, no news. Use audio-only apps for storytelling or meditation. A simple change, a big result. The Redmond story. A couple I adore, Mr. and Mrs. Redmond, both in their mid-70s, came to me with sleep complaints. They watched cable news every night until 11 p.m. Bickering anchors, global disasters, non-stop stress. Then they'd try to sleep. We created a tech-free zone in their bedroom. Instead, they read poetry to each other, played soft jazz, and made chamomile tea. 3 weeks later, Mrs. Redmond hugged me with tears in her eyes. We're sleeping again. And we're talking again. That hour before bed, it changed everything. Your brain doesn't know the difference between news and danger. Think about this. When you watch upsetting stories right before bed, your brain processes them as if they're happening to you. The same response that once protected us from predators in the wild, adrenaline, cortisol, alertness, gets triggered because of a headline on a screen. Let me ask you something quietly. Have you ever been physically tired, but your mind won't let you rest? You lie down, you close your eyes, but your brain starts talking. Not loudly, not rudely, just non-stop. Did I forget something today? Oh, I shouldn't have said that. What if the test results aren't good? Why do I feel so alone tonight? I miss someone, but I don't say it out loud. Sound familiar? If you're over 60, chances are this isn't just a one-time thing. It might be a quiet ritual, one that happens every night just between you and your thoughts. Lucille and the whisper that became a storm. Lucille, 72, came to me not because she couldn't fall asleep, but because she couldn't rest. She said, I shut off the lights, but my mind stays awake. Not with worry exactly, just memory, emotion, thoughts that have nowhere to go. She lost her husband the year before. A gentle man, 50 years of marriage. I thought I had grieved, she whispered. But at night I lie there and hear my own heart, and it's not done talking. She didn't need a prescription. She needed a safe place to feel, to process, and to begin sleeping with softness again. What's actually happening in the brain? This is important. Sleep is not a switch you flip. It's a descent, a winding staircase from wakefulness into deep rest. But if your brain is filled with noise, to-do lists, regrets, unresolved tension, loneliness, it can't take that staircase. Why? Because your nervous system is stuck in fight or flight mode. That's the mode designed to keep you safe from danger, real or imagined. And your brain? It doesn't care whether the threat is a tiger or a thought. If your mind thinks something is unresolved, it stays alert. After 65, this becomes more common. As we age, we have more life to reflect on, more memories, more grief, more worries. Stress resilience decreases. We process tension more slowly. Hormonal shifts affect the balance between alertness and rest. And we often have more quiet time, which means more space for mental noise. The result, even when the lights are off and the house is quiet, our minds are still awake. You can't force the mind to sleep, but you can gently guide it. This is where I offer something simple but powerful. Think of your mind as a restless child. You don't yell at it, you don't ignore it, you sit with it, you soothe it, you say, I hear you, I see you, let's breathe. And little by little it softens. What I gave Lucille instead of a pill. I gave her 3 things. A small journal kept by her bed. A simple breathing exercise. Inhale 4, hold 7, exhale 8. A nightly practice. Before lying down, write 3 things on her mind and 1 thing she's grateful for. She didn't call it therapy. She called it tucking in my thoughts. 2 weeks later, she smiled as she walked into my office. The nights aren't silent yet, but they're kinder. What science says about an overactive mind? A study published in Sleep Medicine Reviews showed that pre-sleep rumination, thinking too much at bedtime, is one of the strongest predictors of insomnia, sleep fragmentation, nightmares, worsened anxiety, daytime cognitive fog. And yet the act of journaling before bed, even for just 5 minutes, significantly reduced sleep onset time and improved sleep depth in older adults. You don't need a meditation app, you just need a pause. Some of my patients love guided meditations, others don't. That's okay. Here are simple ways to quiet the mental noise without needing anything but your attention. Body scan. Start at the top of your head. Slowly notice and relax each part of your body down to your toes. Gratitude breath. Inhale and think of one thing you're grateful for. Exhale and say, let it rest. Prayer or mantra. Whisper a calming phrase like, I am safe, or tonight is for peace. Scent cue. Use a lavender oil or favorite lotion you only apply before sleep. Scent can train the brain to associate it with calm. Jerome's shift from judgment to kindness. Jerome, 81, used to say to himself at night, I didn't do enough today. I should have handled that better. Why can't I just shut off and sleep? It was like he had a courtroom in his head. One night I asked him to try a new phrase, just one. Right before bed, hand on heart, say, I've done enough, I've been enough, let's rest now. He cried the first night, but within a week he told me he was sleeping without guilt for the first time in years. Try this tonight. Before you lie down, sit quietly for 1 minute. Write down 3 thoughts bouncing around in your mind. Write down one thing you're grateful for, however small. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 7, breathe out for 8. Place your hand on your chest and whisper, You've done enough today, let's rest. That's its simple, gentle, real, final thought. We often think of sleep as just. Let me ask you something. Do you like your bedroom warm and cozy? Do you sleep under heavy blankets, keep the heater running, maybe even wear thick pajamas at night? If so, you're not alone. Many people, especially older adults, feel comforted by warmth. But here's the truth I've had to share with many of my patients. After 65, what feels cozy can quietly become dangerous. I know that sounds dramatic, but stay with me. Because the temperature of your bedroom at night, something you may not even think about, could be the reason you wake up drenched in sweat, exhausted, or even with a pounding heart. The body's natural cooling system slows with age. When you're younger, your body is great at regulating temperature. You sweat when you're too hot. You shiver when you're too cold. You adjust. But as you age, this balance becomes more fragile. Your body doesn't sweat as easily, releases heat more slowly, doesn't notice overheating right away, and your heart has to work harder to keep your temperature in check. Now imagine sleeping in a room that's too warm. Your core temperature never drops the way it's supposed to. And that means one thing, your body never fully enters deep, healing sleep. Harold's 2 blankets and a sweaty headache. Harold, 69, lives in Michigan. A widower, kind eyes, still chops wood on weekends. Every night he would crank the heat to 76 degrees F, about 24 degrees C, and curl up under 2 thick blankets. He said, I just want to feel snug. But he woke up every morning soaked in sweat, groggy, foggy, and always with a dull headache. At first he thought it was blood sugar, or age, or just bad sleep. But when I visited his home, I knew immediately. His sleeping environment was overworking his heart all night long. We lowered the thermostat, swapped his heavy comforter for light, breathable layers. Within 2 weeks, Harold was waking up clearer, cooler, and with 0 headaches. It's strange, he said. I'm sleeping cooler but feeling warmer inside. Why the body needs to cool down to sleep deeply. Here's the science, simply put. When you fall asleep, your core body temperature drops about 1 degrees F or half a degree Celsius. This drop triggers melatonin release and helps guide your brain into deep REM sleep. But if your room is too warm, your body struggles to cool down. Melatonin release is delayed. Heart rate stays elevated. Breathing becomes shallow. You toss, turn, and miss the deep stages of sleep your brain and heart desperately need. Worse, prolonged exposure to high temperatures during sleep can cause dehydration, increased nighttime blood pressure, and even higher risk of blood clots, especially in those with existing cardiovascular issues. What's the ideal temperature for sleep? Sleep experts, including those at Harvard and the National Sleep Foundation, agree. The ideal bedroom temperature for older adults is between 60–67 degrees F, 5 degrees C. Anything above 70 degrees F, 21 degrees C, and sleep quality begins to suffer. I know what you might be thinking. That sounds too cold for me. But the trick isn't to feel cold. The trick is to feel stable, to create an environment where your body doesn't have to fight to regulate temperature. How to sleep cooler without feeling chilly. You don't need to freeze to sleep better. You just need to cool the space, not your soul. Here are the adjustments I often recommend. 1. Layer, don't pile. Use light, breathable materials like cotton or bamboo. Avoid heavy fleece or polyester. 2. Open a window slightly. Even in winter, a crack of fresh air can help regulate indoor heat buildup. 3. Use a quiet fan or air purifier. This circulates air and creates a gentle breeze, helping your body cool naturally. 4. Moisture-wicking pajamas. Look for materials designed to pull heat away from your skin. Avoid tight, insulating clothes. 5. Lower the thermostat just 2–3 degrees at first. You don't need a drastic drop. Start small. Your body will adapt. The Schmidt couple, a cozy compromise. Mr. and Mrs. Schmidt, both in their 70s, came to me with a common complaint. We're always arguing about the room temperature. She's always cold. I'm sweating. We came up with a simple solution. Room set to 65 degrees F, 18 degrees C. 2 sets of bedding. Her side had an extra throw blanket. Light cotton sleepwear for both. A small fan on his side of the bed. They returned a month later, both smiling. We stopped fighting, she said, and for the first time in years we both slept through the night. What your morning sweat might be trying to tell you. If you wake up overheated, feel groggy despite 7–8 hours in bed, have vivid dreams or night sweats, experience frequent headaches upon waking, then your bedroom may be too warm. Your body is trying to cool off while you sleep, and that extra effort is costing you rest. Try this tonight. Before bed, lower your thermostat by 2 degrees F. Switch heavy blankets for light, breathable layers. Crack the window if safe and comfortable. Choose soft, moisture-wicking sleepwear. Breathe in. Exhale slowly. Feel the air on your skin. You might just sleep deeper than you have in years. One final thought. Sleep is nature's reset button. It's when your heart heals, your brain reboots, your immune system. Let me ask you a question most people never think about until something bad happens. What does your bedroom and hallway look like at 2:00 a.m. Not during the day, not when the lights are on, but in the middle of the night when you suddenly need to get up to use the bathroom and it's pitch dark? Are there shoes on the floor? A rug that could catch your foot? A dresser edge waiting in the shadows? And perhaps most importantly, do you have a soft light to guide your way? Because if you don't, you're not just walking in the dark. You're walking straight into one of the biggest fall risks for older adults. Peter's fall and the light that could have prevented it. Peter was 76, proud, independent, a retired military man, he always told me. I don't need a night light, Doc. I sleep best in total darkness. But one night around 2:30 a.m. he got up quickly to use the restroom. The room was pitch black, no light, no socks. He didn't see the leg of the chair at the foot of his bed. He tripped, fell hard, broke his cheekbone. 12 days in the hospital. When I visited him, bruised and frustrated, he told me, "One small light, Mark. That's all it would have taken, just one." Falls at night are not just accidents, they're preventable. If you're over 65, you need to know this. Falls are the one cause of injury-related death in older adults. Over 80% of serious nighttime falls happen between midnight and 6 a.m. Most of these involve a dark path to the bathroom, low blood pressure when standing up, or poor visibility. And yet they're almost always seen as just an accident. But they're not, they're predictable, and with the right habits, they're preventable. But wait, isn't light at night bad for sleep? Yes and no. It's true that bright overhead lights can disrupt melatonin production and make it harder to fall back asleep. But the answer isn't no light at all. The answer is the right kind of light, soft, low, warm-colored. Placed low to the ground, motion-activated, and non-disruptive to your brain. That's what your body and your sleep need to stay both safe and undisturbed. How to light your way without waking your brain. Here's what I often recommend to my patients. 1. Install soft night lights along the floor path, especially from bed to bathroom. Look for warm amber tones, below 2700 K. Avoid cool white or blue-toned lights. They signal wake up to your brain. 2. Use motion sensor plug-ins. These only light up when you get out of bed. No need to reach for switches. Low-lumen bulbs, lumens, are enough. 3. Avoid ceiling lights during the night. Even 10 seconds of bright overhead light can disrupt melatonin and wake the brain up. 4. Keep a flashlight or lamp within reach, just in case, and make sure it's easy to turn on without fumbling. Mrs. Dottie, rebuilding confidence in the dark. Dottie, 71, used to wake up several times a night needing to use the bathroom. But after one slip in the dark that bruised her hip, though thankfully no break, she became terrified. She began avoiding water in the evenings, started holding it. Developed a urinary tract infection, her sleep suffered. Her anxiety worsened, and her world shrank. So we made just a few changes, 3 motion-activated amber lights along her hallway, a grippy pair of slippers beside her bed, 1 soft lamp on her nightstand with a touch base, no fumbling. Within a week, she was moving with ease, sleeping more soundly and smiling again. "It's not just the lights," she said. "It's what they gave back to me, peace of mind." Don't let pride or habit put you at risk. I know some of you might be thinking, "I've never needed a night light before. Why now?" Because your body has changed, your balance has changed, your reaction time has changed, and nighttime is no longer neutral, it's where real risk can hide. Your brain at night needs guidance, not shock. Waking up in total darkness, suddenly standing, turning on a bright bathroom light, that's a recipe for lightheadedness. Blood pressure dips, a confusion, and unfortunately falls. But soft, familiar light along your path. It guides your brain, it says, "You're safe, here's where to go, no need to panic." Try this tonight. Before you go to sleep, look at the path from your bed to the bathroom. Is it clear? Is it lit? Can you get there without turning on a blinding ceiling light? If not, go online or visit a store and get just 1 motion-activated night light. Plug it into the wall. Test it. And tonight, when you get up, watch how much easier it feels to move through your space. One last thought from me, Dr. Ellis. You've made it through all 8 parts of this series, and I hope you've realized something important. Better sleep after 65 isn't about drastic change. It's about small shifts that honor your body's needs. It's about paying attention to what once felt automatic. A bite of food, a sip of water, a blanket too thick, a screen left on, a medication taken at the wrong time, or a missing light in the dark. These aren't little things, they're